All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We apologize. If there had been... It wouldn't have surprised me if a tornado had knocked the studio down. Like, at this point, every natural disaster and unnatural disaster that could have possibly happened has occurred to this tournament so far. We are clearly cursed, so we will do our best to bring you the remainder of this tournament and hope that doesn't happen again. It was very convenient that the internet connection started working again as soon as the lightning stopped.
Well, you know, John, having grown up in the Midwest, I grew up in Leawood, Kansas, which is, of course, right in the middle of Tornado Alley. I know all about how lightning and thunder and bad weather can influence power. And now that I live in South Central LA, you know, power just goes out for some reason every now and again.
Yeah, just at random. And there are times when I wish I was in Sweden, then I look at the tax rate, and I don't wish I was in Sweden. So that's just the way of it, but I guess they get what they pay for, and their internet is big, reliable, and scary. I would like all of those things. I'd actually just take one of those out of 3, and that would be better than what I currently have.
I will say, I think that, honestly, Sweden is one of the awesomest countries I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. There's no punchline to that. It's just great.
No,
I just think it's
awesome.
absolutely fantastic.
Yep. I have no doubts about that whatsoever. It's a really, really great country indeed. They also have Max Burger, which is very hard to argue with.
Oh
You've
my
never
gosh,
been, have
that's
you?
right. I have been doing Max Burger.
I was
Isn't that
gonna
the
say.
fast food chain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there, and that's where I learned that entrance and exit is infart and ootfart.
I'm 14 and this is funny, but yeah.
Dude, it was, dude. I took photos by the ootfart in like negative billion-degree weather, literally.
Oh man, that place, I think it was the triple cheese Grand Deluxe, is an artery clogging piece of wonder.
Oh god, now that you say that, all I can think about now is clogging my arteries. It might be a fast food trip after this match. Oh, Totalbiscuit. You know, actually, we're spending all this time talking about everything that's awesome. I want to spend a brief moment talking about how sensational Kane's play has been up to this point.
Yep.
Domination in games 1, 2, and 3. Game 1, the only one where Kane really fell quite a bit far behind, but then with brilliant counterattacking and excellent defense, slaughtered Gosu User's huge push. I mean, just really spot-on play. It's amazing not just to see him do beautifully when everything's going his way, but also to discover... avenues to get back into the game when he's behind. I mean, just amazing versatility under pressure.
Indeed. All right, so here's what we have done. We have gone for a resume from replay. Now, I've got to make you aware of this, by the way, Sean, because this might freak you out. We will most likely be locked to a weird camera. You will need to use the right camera hotkeys, otherwise things will go horribly wrong. I believe what you will need to do is hit something like Control 2 twice, and then things will be back in play. The players.
I know this.
Yep, cool. Because otherwise, yeah, that's... I believe GameHeart may have just fixed this, but it was definitely a problem that we've seen in the past. So this could be interesting. Now, this is the agreement of both players. They suggested this, resuming about 15 seconds before the beginning of the fight, because they both started to be affected by lag, and they both said... I think we've actually got a random Russian who's managed to sneak his way in here, but one way or the other, we have... It's just like, out of nowhere, just some Russian. But anyway, we have a situation where both of these guys lagged as they went into the engagement, and it negatively affected the engagement to the point where they wanted to redo it. And they both wanted to redo it. Gosu User said that he had engaged incorrectly, and then oh, Jesus Christ, not again. He is hoping it holds up. Anyway, Kane said that he apparently missed some fungals as a direct result of lag. So we are about ready to get started, and we're going to see this engagement once again. They're both pretty much committed to this. They both have pretty equally sized armies, so we are ready to make it happen. And here we go. Alright, the engagement is going to occur in the center here. We are back in the game. Pretty evenly sized armies. Army supply is about as even as you can get here. We'll see what happens, and Kane is going to move back as it happens. He doesn't want to take the engagement around the Zelnaga Watchtower, which his opponent has control over, especially with fungals being a factor. That would, of course, be a bad idea. Gosu User nicely picks off an Overseer, and Kane is looking to try and engage on the left flank, right flank this time around.
It's very even, but those Hydras are very exposed in the middle. The angle is terrible for Kane. If those Infestors get up to that pack, it's going to be a nightmare situation. Oh, the worst possible thing has happened. for Kane. So many fungals landing down at that ramp, the worst possible angle. It's just macro at this point. Ghost User's supply falling rapidly, surprisingly, but
huge
right now,
surge of roaches coming in from Kane, actually. Massive. He had a big bank and a lot of lava saved him. If he can get those roaches back into the fight, he can definitely defend this.
But it's going to be very close. Ghost User has broken a key defensive position. Kane now in, again, a nightmare situation. He barely defended in game number 1. Can he do it again here in game 4?
Roaches coming in, and it's this fourth base that's given him the economy to make this happen, and it's actually resulted in a flank. Kane comes around, surrounds the army of his opponent, and is going to crush it.
That is unbelievable. Kane had an atrocious angle. All the fungals landed, but the reinforcements just too much. The repositioning, the decision to engage them, and of course that extra power boost from those Hydras helping a lot. But I mean, man, look at that units lost right now, Totalbiscuit. About
Pretty
2K more for Kane.
In a mirror match, that makes all the difference, and Kane does have the economy to back this up. He still has that fourth base well defended. He has a drone lead over his opponent. It also means he has more lava. He does only have 2 queens, however. So the lava boost that he would have got from having those 4 hatcheries is not actually kicking in the way that you would expect. Speaking of something you wouldn't expect, Kane is now bringing No, he's cancelled it. Never mind.
The tease. Kane realizes he doesn't want to drop. His big goal is to secure this middle. If he can secure the middle, it opens up avenues. There it is. Boom. He can now take a 5th base comfortably in bottom right, but only so long as he holds that middle juncture. Now it looks like he's trying to also go for a big surround angle. The concave, very favoring of Kane right now.
It's looking really good. He came in from both sides. He got Hydras behind there as well, which is cutting through the Roach forces on the side right there. Gosu User is trying to hold on. He has a superior Hydralist count. The Roach count is melting on both sides here. Good engagement for Gosu User. His best, I think, is a good hope for. The reinforcements should even clean this up as well. So Kane takes a bit of a pounding there in the center. He is already building another 26 Roaches, however, and also adding on the Hydra speed.
Yeah, I mean, this play, this is essentially the aggression macro momentum style. I have a lead in bases, so I'm going to hurl as much at you as I can. I don't even care if it's cost inefficient. I want to break down and prevent you from ever getting up a 4th.
And to be honest, Kane can only do this so many times. He's currently 4,000 resources lost behind, and is now able to put a lot of momentum in, but there's only so many times you can remax off that bank. Though, if Ghost User can't touch the 4th base, then maybe that doesn't become a factor. He's got his own 4th up now, though, so that advantage rapidly disappears.
Yes, I mean, essentially, in the time, if you have 4 versus 3, you have about 2 pushes in this matchup that you can do. The first one, Ghost User brought the noise there. That was at 1, and then push 2 just occurred. Kane no longer can try to barrel through. He's going to go for the counterattack style. Leenock has won so many Lost Zerg Reserves with exactly this style, but he needs to get Burrow.
Yeah, that would be great. The ability to harass using that would be absolutely fantastic. Really putting his opponent out of position using it. Ghost User gets the cleanup, loses a queen in the process. So again, that lava advantage is not so big. Kane now looking to try and strike the natural here. But one mistake. If he gets a bad concave here, he is not getting out of this.
That's right. He needs to begin retreating. There's no need. Oh my god, Ghost User is going to cut off the retreat. He's picked off the Infestor from the backside, and now Kane is going to have to try to retreat at a bad angle. Thank God for this exit for Kane's Roaches. Ghost User had almost every angle covered, and really sensational defense, and Kane missed another opportunity to counterattack at the right. There it begins.
Yes, indeed he did. Now, he's adding Carapace upgrades in there. I like Carapace in this particular scenario, especially against Hydralisks. That's really nice. And we'll see how effective that is. More Infestors being added on for Kane. Admittedly, the Infestors haven't really contributed that much for him. Getting into another pretty bad angle here against Hydras. I'm really surprised Kane wants to take this fight.
Kane is not in a good position here, but he is rallying from all sides. It looks like he's trying to break through and get some targets down on those Hydras.
Oh, he's got behind him.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not enough. There's so much firepower from Ghost User, and Kane that was the worst engagement he has taken in this entire game. He is now almost 10,000 resources behind his opponent in terms of units lost. A fantastic fungal doesn't have a follow-up, so it's not going to matter. And there's the GG. Ghost User finally begins his long road to the comeback.
And I really like the way that Ghost User played this game out as well. I mean, keeping all his units together, staying focused when the counterattacks began to happen, did not lose his cool, repositioned very, very nicely, and I think most importantly, brought the attack to Kane. Now, just that statement, bringing the attack to Kane, is already an amazing positional feat, because Kane is trying to counterattack with faster units on a huge open map. He's trying to do it on Whirlwind. It's almost impossible to stop your opponent from doing that. But Gosu User just scooped the roaches back a little bit at a time and perfectly struck Kane when he had just been doing nothing but flooding roaches, and as you said, Totalbiscuit. Once it was 10k differential, that's when Ghost User was really cranking up the noise. Not much he could do at that point.
Yeah, it really, really wasn't. You have that big momentum with the economic lead, but you accurately pointed out, you get about 2 pushes out of that, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw 2 attempts, both thwarted, and then the 3rd attempt just turned into an absolute rout. It was horrendous to watch, and Ghost User rolls over his opponent. Nicely played. Now we have the final map in the map pool, which has tended to be the same, especially in the best of 5, as well as the best of 7s. Neoplanet S, not exactly a popular map amongst the players. Most of them hated it, and they don't want to play it, but this is no veto format. It's all in play. Neoplanet S will be played out, and then maybe we see the entire map pool refresh.
Yeah, and that's, again, really exciting. I genuinely hope to see... actually, Neoplanet S is my favorite map in the map pool. There's a lot of dirty counterattacking that happens on this map. I think this is one of the hardest ZVZ maps in the map set, because every expansion is sort of awkwardly placed with these vulnerable attack avenues, but to even go down one of those attack avenues, you're taking a big risk in yourself.
Yeah, certainly.
It's rough.
It definitely is. We'll be going into the next game very shortly. Obviously, we don't want to keep you delayed. Currently, I am unable to access websites, but the stream is working, so I guess that's fine.
Yeah, it looks like the lightning just struck a DNS server, and that's it.
Yeah, I actually think it probably was. Looks like we have lost DNS completely, thankfully. Since we already had a connection, it doesn't matter. With the stream and the Skype works, that doesn't require DNS whatsoever, so Jesus Christ. Alright, well, it's okay. I can use my phone to browse the internet, and I can also rely on reports from Day9 TV as to what is happening on the internet.
Well, I will continue to make up updates as they come into my brain, Totalbiscuit.
Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. We are ready to rock and roll. So let's get into Neoplanet S, the map that everybody hates. Well, at least when it came to this tournament. I can't pull the exact statistic, but I can say a absolute metric ton of map choices did not involve Neoplanet S. That is a fact.
I think it's a really, really excellent, fun map. I think everyone was mistaken.
I don't think anyone playing it likes it, but I like to watch it, so we'll see how it goes. All right.
Well, mate, I'm weird. It's my favorite map to play. Go on. I'm sorry.
I guess someone had to defend it, right? To the northeast position in the red trunks, playing Zerg, who was looking dominant and then was not quite able to complete the clean sweep. Will this be the time when his prowess falls to pieces? It is.
Root Kane
versus his opponent, who, in an excellent display of mental fortitude, has been able to pull this one back to 3-1. He has a long road ahead of him. He is
Millennium Gosu User.
You know, this is the map where... Oh, yeah, baby.
10 pull from Gosu User. 3-1 down and you 10 pull. You have the balls.
So I want to note a couple of things very, very quickly. This is the map where the old strategies, the more typical macro-based, macro-oriented strategies, still work. Those are still legitimate because of the fact that the choke at your natural expansion is quite small. However, the distances between the bases, very tight. A lot of the angles, very, very exploitable with early aggression. And look at this. Kane actually, if he goes for hatch gas, that is an extreme risk. Notice the overlords. The overlords are not actually flying over any movement pads. Is he going to go gas? He's getting 2 more drones. This is the perfect map for Ghost User to do this strategy on.
This is a really nasty strategy. Oh, no, he's going gas. He's going gas. This is exactly the same build, I believe.
Oh, no.
This could be disastrous. This is exactly the same build that was used. It may not be exactly the same.
God.
No, it's not. It's just a straight 10-pull rush. He's pulling drones.
He's pulling drones, and there's the spine crawler. And Kane sees it. Kane sees the spine at the left. Everything being pulled. I don't know why he would pull everything. I mean, you can just go for the hatch kill. Ghost User, is he going to lose this spore crawler? No, he does manage to get the cancel off. Kane is going to need to control this. impeccably. How many drones are back at home? 4. That's enough to support. Lings coming out one at a time.
Man, this is an all-or-nothing build here for Gosu User, but it's a great map to do it on, as you said. This is already... there's the hatch cancel, of course. He knows he won't be able to hold that. And drones are now coming off the line. There are Lings in the mix, and he has somehow got to get a fantastic surround in order to actually make this work. Oh, looking at the unit count station right now. He's doing damage, but there's 9 Lings on the field. Most of them aren't in the fight. Kane comes off of that fight in a bad way with only 5 drones remaining. Takes yet more damage. This could just be GG right here.
Wow, you came way over bold with his drones. Needed to hold the top of the ramp. Zerglings for Kane coming out. Queen for Kane coming out. But 5 drones only on the field. Where do you go from here? 3 drones returning back. It might very well be 2 after this engagement. Oh, what a devastating loss for Kane.
Oh, man. And Kane is now super far behind. It's 9 drones to 3. The comeback potential here is ridiculously low. An engagement comes in. Gosu User gets the better arc on it. And this is a game-winning force of Lings. Kane has really... He's got his queen coming up here, but, you know, he's got 1 drone. He's about to lose his last drone. There is no question that he is going out of this game at this point.
And there it goes down. That's just going to be a good game. Gosu User, wow! From 0-3 to 2-3, 1 game away from tying it up, you know.
Game paused.
Yeah. What was the word you said that if Gosu User is not tilted after those first 3 games, then he probably has the best mental fortitude of any pro you've ever seen. Was that it?
It was among those words, yes. Those words can be rearranged to form a popular phrase, and I think that it's pretty damn accurate.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact remains that with that lightning strike taking out power briefly before you got things back online, I think that was what Gosu User needed. He needed that time to be away, to be cool. You know, we had him in the channel. He didn't even have a chance to rewatch the replays. Literally just got the chance to sit and stop thinking about the game and just wait. And man, I actually think that that is a brutal momentum reversal for Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, Kane was just dominating 3 games in a row, looked to be in a dominating position, and then literally reload game, lose, go to game 5, insta-lose, on to game 6. That's very, very difficult.
There's no question about that. However, a couple of things to bear in mind. It's now Kane's map choice, and the entire pool is refreshed. Neoplanet S, obviously a great map to pull that kind of nonsense on. Even if he loses this, he still has another map to play with, and he picks Star Station, a map where he played a dominant game.
Yeah, I mean, that was utter domination in that match. I mean, there's no other word to describe it. The initial rush killed a single drone. The follow-up rush, halfway through, Ghost User just left.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this is a good map for Kane to get his game face back on. You know, I think the best situation you could be in as a pro is if you lose to a build like that, you chalk it up to experience, say, it was the map I least wanted to play on, he pulled some funky stuff, and that's that. Yeah, just don't even take it seriously, just go on to the next game and play your plan. Well, let's see if Gosu User's tournament experience will win out here. I am ready to rock and roll.
Gosu User actually had a lot of nerve issues that he had to overcome early in his career. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people, you know, remember those games. I mean, you and I get access to a lot of these, you know, as we end up casting a lot of early round matches. Yeah. And it was very often a strong player versus Gosu User. I distinctly remember watching Gosu User versus top Korean Protosses in a winning position and throw the game.
Yes.
Due to nerves. Against top Korean Terrans, winning position, 4 base versus 2 base, having killed the 3rd, throws the game away. And we're seeing Gosu User having reversed his mental state just over the last few months. Really good at saying, okay, I'm down 0-3, time to come back, and not choking.
Yeah, certainly. Well, let's see how it goes. To the southeast position in the red trunks, the guy that was looking dominant, but has unfortunately now taken a couple of pretty painful losses. Let's see if he can rally his thoughts. He is
Root Kane
versus his opponent to the northwest position, who, when he is 1 game away from elimination, pulls 10 pool drone all in on 1 base. The ball's on this man. He is
Millennium Gosu User.
You know, this is a very uncomfortable map to play a game 6 on. You know, I think there's, from a competitor's standpoint, there's a couple of bins that you just dump your opponent into. Okay. To try to help you just approach the situation mentally. Like, oh, he plays standard. Or, I am better than he is, so I will play standard. Like, weaker player is actually a general bin. He's very cheesy, or he's very unorthodox. Like, all these things kind of will color the opening that you go for. But on Star Station, the reason I say it's uncomfortable is that all those are virtually irrelevant, whether he's playing standard, unorthodox, aggressive, passive. Lings are so dangerous on this map that you are more worried about covering those angles than you are about what your opponent's even doing.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. We're going to see exactly whether or not Kane can pull off the same kind of flawless aggression that he was able to bring the last time we saw this map in this series. Will Gosu User have actually learned his lesson in this respect? Having seen Star Station at the pick, he's got to be expecting the same kind of play.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, I think Kane has a solid enough defense that he says, okay, I'm going to do my standard build. Look at this. He lost with this build last game and just says, nope, that's the good one. I'm going to be doing this one.
And it's a good map. Good map for him.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Neoplanet S wasn't, but again, that kind of thing happens, and you've just kind of got to chalk it up to experience and say, right, well, let's just take another map. Let's just wipe that one clean.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I actually, in sort of seeing some of the chatter around these games, it's very easy to look at Kane's build and to say, oh, that's so greedy, going for the, you know, gas first, but it's actually quite defensively minded at a base level. You get your gas so quickly that you get both speed and your Baneling Nest before your opponent. I mean, if you just look over at Gosu User, no matter what cheese that, you know, Gosu User could even do in his position, he's going to do it with a later Baneling Nest, so it ends up being quite good defensively.
Let's have a look at the positions. So Gosu User has placed his Baneling Nest in his main base, whereas Kane has placed his Baneling Nest at the front. And once again, exactly the same spacing, with the Queen in that very specific position, as you accurately pointed out earlier, and it's a nice position indeed. Little bit of scouting goes on. He sees, alright, there's no Baneling Nest at the front here. There is, however, a Spine Crawler following this up, and another dip-in will certainly reveal that. Speed is going to finish for Kane first, but we are seeing a swell of drones and not a swell of Lings here.
Well, I mean, this is the game that we've amazingly been waiting for this whole series. A game where both players just say, nope, gonna do my own thing. Just gonna sit, just gonna drone.
Nice little run by there.
Always a possibility doing this sort of thing. And he sees a couple of key things. First of all, no layer, but also, very importantly, no gas geysers.
Yep.
So this greatly limits the potential. If you saw one gas geyser down, you'd be like, oh, there are some cheeses that can be going on. If you saw 2 gas geysers down and no layer, you would definitely be expecting a Roach Baneling all in.
Yeah, so since he sees one, and he also notes that speed just completed, he knows what he's doing there. Kane is ridiculously ahead here on his lair. Like, he is going to be seeing that very motor. Ghost User will try and take a third base.
Very smart play. Ling's rule on this map, even with the Mutalisks out, look at the third base for Ghost User. It doesn't even matter what third base you pick. There are going to be about 4 key attack points. The natural will always be an attack point. And then, no matter what expansion you take, there's about 3 angles that it opens up. So it's a tough defense. So the Zerglings from Ghost User, very smart. Roach Warren from both players. I mean, Roach Warren from Ghost User was expected, but not from Kane.
Not on 4 gas. I guess he's just figured, right, well, I can't afford to try and get Spire right now. The aggression's going to be coming in my general direction. I have to wonder what he's going to do with all that spare gas. He's already banked up 500.
Should be Nidus.
Yeah.
Should be a Nidus. There it is!
Yeah! Oh, nice cancel by Kane, actually. That was 2 for 4 trade.
Absolutely excellent. Yep. Very clever play. Well, if you're going to try to be expanding and then trying to get all aggressive